Hi and welcome to my video demo on the Cardinal Movements of Labor. To download my lecture deck, please go to my WordPress site, Tokina Obigaine. Reference for this lecture is Williams Obstetrics 25th edition, Chapter 22, Normal Labor. So basically, we have 7 cardinal movements of labor, and these are engagement, descent, flexion, internal rotation, extension, external rotation, and expulsion. So during labor, these movements not only are sequential, but also show great temporal overlap. Now, these movements consist principally of fetal straightening with loss of dorsal convexity and closer application of the extremities to the body. As a result, the fetal ovoid is transformed into a cylinder shape, with the ultimate goal of achieving the smallest possible cross-section, typically passing through the birth canal. Now, the fetal head is freely movable above the pelvic inlet at labor onset, and this is typically referred to as floating. A normal size head usually does not engage with its sagittal suture directed anteroposteriorly. Instead, the fetal head usually enters transversely or in the occiput transverse position or sometimes obliquely. Now, the first cardinal movement of labor is engagement, and this is the mechanism by which the biparietal diameter of the fetal head, which is the greatest transverse diameter in an occiput presentation, passes through the pelvic inlet or station 0. Now, let us recall what station 0 is. Station 0 is when the biparietal diameter of the fetal head has passed through the level of the ischial spines. Now, a normal size head engages with its sagittal suture usually directed transversely, as you see in this video, or sometimes obliquely. Now, just to emphasize, engagement is when the biparietal diameter of the fetal head has passed through the level of the ischial spines, or what we call station 0. Now, fetal position at the end of engagement is occiput transverse. Could be left or right, or the sagittal suture is along the transverse axis of the maternal pelvic inlet. The second cardinal movement of labor is descent. This movement is the first requisite for the birth of the newborn. Descent is brought about by one or more of 4 forces. 1. Pressure of the amniotic fluid. 2. Direct pressure of the fundus upon the breech with contractions. 3. The bearing down efforts of the maternal abdominal muscles. And the 4th is the extension and straightening of the fetal body. The third cardinal movement of labor is flexion. Now, as soon as the descending head meets resistance, whether from the cervix, the pelvic walls, or the pelvic floor, it normally flexes. With this movement, the chin is brought into more intimate contact with the fetal thorax, and the appreciably shorter suboccipitobregmatic diameter is substituted for the longer occipitofrontal diameter. Now, just to give you a clearer picture, see, the flexion of the head converts from the longer occipitofrontal diameter to a shorter suboccipitobregmatic diameter. Now, this conversion typically reduces the anteroposterior diameter from nearly 12 centimeters to just 9.5 centimeters. So, it means that the fetal head should adapt or adjust its diameter from a longer occipitofrontal to a shorter suboccipitobregmatic diameter in order for it to successfully pass through the birth canal. Now, the fourth cardinal movement of labor is internal rotation. Now, this movement consists of a turning of the head in such a manner that the occiput gradually moves towards the symphysis pubis or sometimes posteriorly towards the hollow of the sacrum. Now, at the end of internal rotation, you can see that the head of the baby is almost crowning. Now, the fetal position at the end of internal rotation is, as you can see in this picture, occiput anterior. The fifth cardinal movement of labor is extension. Now, just to give you a clear picture of what happens during extension, let us now look at these videos. Now, as the head of the baby pushes out of the vulva, It extends until it is fully delivered out of the vaginal canal. Now let us look at a different angle. Now this angle, you can see more clearly the extension of the fetal head as it pushes out of the vulva and delivered out fully out of the vaginal canal. Now when the head presses on the pelvic floor, two forces come into play. The first force is exerted by the uterus and acts more posteriorly, and the second force is supplied by the resistant pelvic floor and the symphysis pubis and acts more anteriorly. The resultant vector force is in the direction of the vulvar opening, thereby causing head extension. This brings the base of the occiput into direct contact with the inferior margin of the symphysis pubis. Immediately after its delivery, the head drops downward so that the chin lies over the maternal anus. Now, the fetal position after extension is occiput anterior. The sixth cardinal movement of labor is external rotation or restitution. Now, if the occiput was originally directed towards the left, then it rotates towards the left ischial tuberosity. If it was originally directed towards the right, then the occiput rotates to the right. This movement corresponds to rotation of the fetal body to bring its bisacromial diameter into relation with the AP diameter of the pelvic outlet. Thus, one shoulder is anterior behind the symphysis pubis and the other is posterior. Now you ask, why is restitution very important? Now, this cardinal movement of labor is very important because its objective is to bring the bisacromial diameter or the diameter between the two shoulders of the baby into the same axis as the AP diameter of the pelvic outlet. That way, we are able to deliver successfully the rest of the baby's body. Now, can you just imagine if restitution did not happen? So, bisacromial diameter of the baby will be transverse or in transverse axis in relation to the AP diameter of the pelvic outlet. And that will be more technically difficult to deliver the rest of the baby's body. Now, the fetal position at the end of external rotation is, as you can see in this picture, occiput transverse. Now, the last cardinal movement of labor is expulsion. Now, this is the cardinal movement of labor that results in the delivery of the rest of the baby's body. Almost immediately after external rotation, the anterior shoulder appears under the symphysis pubis and the perineum soon becomes distended by the posterior shoulder. After delivery of the shoulders, the rest of the body quickly passes. So in summary, let us now look at all 7 cardinal movements of labor in one continuous video. So we have engagement, descent, flexion, internal rotation, then the head of the baby is now crowning, then it pushes out of the vulva by extending its head, and then once the head is delivered, it externally rotates to facilitate the delivery of the rest of the body, which is now called expulsion. That's it for my video demo. Thank you for watching this video. And please don't forget to subscribe in my YouTube channel and my WordPress site, Doc Ina Obigaine. Thank you!